What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's Kush back at it again with another New York Giants video. And we're going to talk about today what is to come in about 2 or 3 weeks. I believe it is 2. Correct me if I'm wrong, then it is 3. New York Giants training camp, which does start at the end of July, beginning of August. So once again, correct me on that date if I'm wrong. But we've been waiting so long for this. We've essentially had no type of Giants news, no type of football news, no type of ongoings in the NFL community, essentially since the Super Bowl. And we had a little bit of, with the voluntary stuff, we had a little bit of OTAs, but even then, they weren't as heavily covered as they usually are by the New York media this year. Not sure what the reasoning is there. And then there's a little bit of, a rumor going around but that fans may not be allowed at training camp like they were pre-COVID, which in my opinion would be stupid if they aren't. But that's another video for if it gets confirmed. It's just been rumored. I don't want anybody in the comments to take my word as, Bible or something like that. But I have seen a couple rumors saying that we might not be able to attend that. But either way, what we do have to look forward to for the Giants at least is that we are stacked when it comes to depth at several positions right now. And because of that, there's going to be several very interesting training camp battles that's going to take place in just a few short weeks. And I listed out 3 of them that I'm looking forward to. There's certainly more than 3, but these 3 were the ones that I've been thinking about for a while, and in my opinion, that's going to have the most impact on the team. So to start it right out, cornerback battles between Darnay Holmes and Aaron Robinson. Now, of course, I'm going to have 2 players specifically up here, but there's going to be a whole group of them that's going to be involved in trying to fight for their starting spot. Now, of course, Darnay and Aaron are like the 2 most likely out of all the cornerbacks we have that's really going to end up locking down that 3rd spot in our cornerback secondary, because obviously James Bradbury has that number 1 locked down, very similar to how he locks down receivers. And then, of course, Adoree Jackson got that number 2 on deck as well because of his bag and because of what we signed him for, his potential. And really all that leaves is that 3rd cornerback spot, which just so happens to be the slot corner. And in my opinion, I think Darnay is going to be the guy that comes out on top here. But he does have a good competition in Aaron Robinson. Now here's the thing with Aaron Robinson. He was both an outside and inside guy at UCF, so he wasn't primarily either or. Darnay was actually an outside corner at UCLA that shifted to the inside for the Giants, and we all know that worked out pretty well. He, as a rookie cornerback, had the most targets without letting up a touchdown in his rookie year, which is something great. He showed flashes. All in all, I'm very comfortable with Darnay being our starting slot cornerback. And with what great players of before have to say about him, like Deion Sanders and whatnot, I'm confident that he could develop into a great starter for us, potentially a star in this Giants defense. But Robinson does bring a little bit to the table that may be pushing the envelope a little bit for that starting slot corner job, or maybe he just ends up being as a really good rotational piece in his first year. Physically speaking, he's a different corner from Darnay. Darnay uses his wits a lot more. Aaron just uses his body a lot more, and he is a bit more athletic in my opinion than Darnay Holmes, and he fits what Patrick Graham wants to run, or I should say what the current narrative is that Patrick Graham wants to run. Patrick Graham, before he came to Giants, was very much a man press coverage type of guy. He was not really running that last year. He had to adjust his personnel, and it was a good outcome because we ended up being the 9th ranked defense in the NFL. But with the guys that he drafted and the guys that we got in free agency, signs are pointing to him going back to a man press type of defense, because that's what a guy like Aaron Robinson excels in. That's what a guy with like Adoree Jackson excels in. So Robinson does have that going for him, but because of how well Darnay did in his rookie year, and because it was just his rookie year, he could only go up from there. I think Darnay might get this one. We'll see how it turns out. You guys let me know who you got confidence in for the cornerback battle here. And then moving on to the next one, we're going to have a little bit of competition at the edge rushing role for the New York Giants. Now, this one specifically is going to be for that 2nd outside linebacker position, because I do think that number 1 outside linebacker position is going to go to Azeez Ojulari. I'm not sure if it's a consensus. If it isn't, it should be. He is our best outside linebacker right now. I don't think there's any doubt about that. He's 100% our best outside rusher as of right now. Leonard Williams obviously takes the best overall rusher on this team. So I don't really think there's going to be any competition for that number 1 spot. And also, because of the fact that he was a first-round pick that slipped into the 2nd, much like Xavier McKinney did last year, I do think the Giants are going to try and have him get as much reps as possible so that he could develop really quickly. So the battle that I have going on here, as you see by the pictures I have between Lorenzo and O'Shane, is actually going to be for that second outside linebacker spot. And much like the first competition, it's not just going to be between two guys. Depending on how the Giants choose to use one Ofidi Odenigbo, he could end up being that second outside linebacker, and I wouldn't be mad about it. He was a really good pass rushing guy from Minnesota over the past 2 years, and he probably is better than both Lorenzo and O'Shane. Lorenzo could win it out. Somebody that I had a lot of faith in last year. Last offseason I said that he could be a breakout candidate for the Giants, and before he went down with his Achilles injury, he was showing really good flashes to us. If he comes back healthily and he picks up where he left off, then he's going to be that second guy for us, and he's going to honestly fulfill his role, from the moment he was drafted. Lorenzo was always going to be a second outside linebacker on a team, and his skills really complement those of Aziz really well. Like, for example, Aziz isn't the best run stuffing outside linebacker, but Lorenzo is a maestro at that. And while Lorenzo seems to be picking up on his actual pass rushing skills, that's something that Aziz already has down pat. Now when it comes to O'Shane, he's already taken a couple steps back in our depth chart just because of additions like Aziz and Afidi, but also we're gonna have to see something out of him that he might not have the chance to show. What I mean by that is he could very well take a step next year, but we as fans just won't see it because he would be so far back in the depth chart that he won't be seeing playing time on the field. Like, I do legitimately think there are 3 better outside linebackers on this team right now than O'Shane Ximines. And it's the 3 I've talked about so far. And then, of course, I mean, low-key, is Cam Brown and Carter Coughlin better than him? I don't want to go that far yet, but he didn't show that much in either of his first 2 years. Granted, it is his first 2 years. This 3rd year is going to matter so much. He's going to have to show the coaches something to get on the field, and that something is going to be during training camp. The Giants at outside linebacker right now are sitting at a nice spot of quantity and quality, in my opinion, where we had a lot of guys, and a lot of them can produce to a degree. So if O'Shane Ximines really wants to make a career with the Giants this offseason, this particular training camp, he's going to have to show up and show out for the coaches so that he's going to get time on the field and show us what he can do. And then for the final training camp battle that I got, that I'm looking at personally, and in my opinion is the most important one out of all that I've listed so far, we got one for the offensive line, specifically guard, Shane Lemieux and Zach Fulton. And of course, there is a 3rd person I could throw in here because a lot of people have faith in Shane Lemieux. When I say people, I don't mean random fans like myself and you guys. I mean the Giants organization, coaches, and GM. Front office, they have a good amount of faith in Shane Lemieux. Maybe I should start buying into him as they are. But the other person I should throw in here is Will Hernandez. Just in general, the guard position. I mean, there's already been talks of Shane Lemieux taking Will's place at left guard and then Will being the right guard in this coming season. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Last year when Shane Lemieux played at left guard, him and Andrew Thomas did some nice work together. And of course, down the stretch after Will got COVID, he hasn't really seen the starting left guard position as much as he had in previous years because Shane was doing a good job over there that there was not really a reason to move Will and disrupt Shane's early development. But I will say this, both of their positions, left and right guard, for the beginning of the year is going to be something that might be in flux. I do think Zach Fulton, the man on the right here that we got from the Texans, who wasn't a signing I was particularly excited about, and I'm looking at him now as a Cam Fleming at the guard position, which isn't a bad thing. That just means he's a good rotational player at the guard, not somebody you necessarily want to have starting long term, but let's say for the first 3 or 4 weeks I'd be fine with it. He might be seeing time starting at either the left or the right. Whoever he starts over is going to be all decided in training camp, in my opinion. Whether it's Shane Lemieux, whether he didn't take that next step forward in pass protection, or whether it's Will Hernandez, where he's just staying stagnant or even takes a step back. But we'll see how it goes. Will has been putting in a lot of work this offseason. We've all seen the videos on Instagram and Twitter. So is Shane Lemieux. We've seen Andrew Thomas out here working out. Maybe they both beat out Zach Fulton and, they just go and get their starting jobs right from the beginning. And this young offensive line is ready to go from day one. We shall see. I'm really not sure who I would pick between Shane and Will, and that's really kind of a knock to Will Hernandez a little bit, so I do hope he comes back and he comes stronger than he has before. But I do think Zach Fulton's going to see a little bit of playing time, and that's not necessarily going to be a bad thing. Maybe one of them just needs, a little bit more practice, a little bit more time with Rob Sale, our offensive line coach, and Pat Flaherty, the coaching assistant that we brought in. But those are the camp battles I'm looking forward to. Put your thoughts down below for each one and for anyone that you would like to see that's not on this list. That's it for now. I'm out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll catch y'all in the next one.